Welcome back to my page. I'm very, very sorry I've been gone so long, but this has been a very, very strange year for everybody in the world. The pandemic being the number one thing. Um, Having to refocus all my energies on going out shopping and making sure that I was masked and gloved and didn't bring anything home to my children who are immunocompromised. Said it right, Caitlin. And just wanted to make sure that they were healthy and strong in the midst of all of this. Also because my next to the oldest son, Benjamin, um, he was in the hospital for the first month of the summer and the first week of July. So from the end of May all the way to the first week of July, he was in the hospital for pancreatitis. And we'll get into that about the genetic lottery that my children have won besides having Tourette's. Also, my oldest son Matthew and Benjamin both have had to have trips down to Boston to see specialists. Matthew because he's been put on the transplant list. Yay! I'm so excited about that because he really needs a liver transplant. Things are not going well for him physically, and mentally it's a little hard for him to deal with this all the time, you know, knowing that there's an organ in his body that's not performing the way it should, and it makes his whole system just out of whack, and it makes him feel bad. So also, we put a garden in, and the Lord blessed it, and we have had like umpteen tons of tomatoes and cucumbers and green beans and potatoes, and we're just really, really thankful for that to God because we're going to need it this winter. So I've canned 150 quarts of tomatoes and about 40 quarts of green beans, and we've made strawberry jelly, blueberry jelly, peach jelly. We made pickles and dill pickles and extra salty dill pickles because we didn't realize 7 tablespoons of salt was going to be really, really salty. So it was our first time making pickles, but we did.
It was a double batch.
It was a double batch, so you know, I cut everything back the second time I made them, so they taste really good. And also, just physically and mentally being worn out from constantly having to be on guard for the COVID-19 and making sure that my children are covered. And I know they're all adults, but you know, along with the Tourette's comes forgetfulness and ADHD, and then it's like retraining them all over again. I had to retrain them to be consistent with their masks and their gloves and make sure that they keep themselves covered when they go outside, which isn't very often. So anyway, I'm back, and thank you for being patient and for all the views that I've had on my other 2 videos. So what should we talk about today, Caitlin? Caitlin is my camera lady today, and she's going to be my interviewer to help bring things up to speed for you guys.
Yeah, you won't see me. I'm strictly behind the camera.
And this is one thing, I'll bring this up too. Caitlin's anxiety has geared itself down towards social anxiety, which makes it really hard for her to meet people or be out in a crowd without having a panic attack. So you know, that's another thing with the whole shopping thing with the pandemic. I mean, she did really well with that when we had to go shopping together because we what did we call it, Caitlin? The kind of shopping we did with 2 or 3 carts.
Oh, bulk shopping.
We bulk shopped, and it took 2 of us to do it together. So now that I can go by myself and one of my sons can go with me because things have calmed down here in Maine a little bit. She stays on the home and gets things ready to be put away. So what did you want to say, Katie?
I was
Gonna ask me a question?
I was gonna ask you a question.
Do you remember the question?
We can edit this part out.
I don't care. I think it's cute.
I was just going to ask, should we tell them about Ben's pancreas?
Well, that's the reason why he was in the hospital, because it's pancreatitis.
You know, the genes and what
yeah,
happens next.
That's an interesting aspect. Part of the lottery gene pool that my children have won, and no, it's not $1,000 a day for the rest of our lives. I wish. He has a SPINK1 deformity gene inside his system that causes him to have pancreatitis. And we went to see a specialist in Boston, down at Brigham
Women and Young's.
I can't never say that. I'm sorry. Brigham Women and Young's, and he's the head of the in the endocrinology department, so he was really nice, Dr. Banks, and he sent away for a test for Benjamin to take, a swab in the mouth, so that we could find out if there are any other genetic deformities that is causing Benjamin to have pancreatitis in such a severe state. We have to be really careful with him. He can't take any kind of new medications that has anything to do with treating his psoriatic arthritis or his Tourette's or his skin or anything like that because of breakouts with the psoriasis. He has to be really careful because it can set him off with a pancreatic attack. So that means that there could be another genetic deformity that's causing him to have pancreatitis when this new medication, any new medication, is introduced to his life. So it's a possibility that he's going to have his pancreas out, which means that he will be a type 1 diabetic for the rest of his life. And, you know, I kind of feel like we're trading one bad thing for another, but having him writhing in pain, nothing to eat or drink, heaving nonstop, being in the hospital for a week at a time because of the pain and the nausea, the trade-off would be, yeah, he has to have insulin, he has to watch his diet, he has to lose weight, he has to, you know, exercise as best he can with his arthritis, but at least he won't be in severe pain. So I know it doesn't seem like much of a trade-off, but that's the gene pool my kids have won. So.
And the other downside of keeping the pancreas is with the constant inflammation, he's more at risk for pancreatic cancer.
Yes, and that's a biggie, and I don't want him to have that. He's only 32 years old. So, and so that's what's been going on in our family. And of course, Caleb, my youngest son, who had DBS surgery 2 years ago, one of the things that we found that has come to the forefront with his Tourette's is his OCD. So we've been trying to do all kinds of new things, CBD oil, changing out his medication, not taking so much of one and taking a little bit more of the other, all kinds of different things that we've been trying for his depression and his OCD, and now Caleb's going to have allergy shots. And I know it seems like not a big thing, but when you have so much on your plate already, that's just like saying, oh, just one more thing, or I'll just take one more bite, and you know your stomach is bulging out and you're just really uncomfortable. That's kind of like what it feels like when it's like a new diagnosis or just one more thing to deal with. I think my proverbial stomach has had enough, and I don't want any one more things. But like I said, that's the lottery that they've won. So, what else, Caitlin? Anything else you can think of?
I think we could save this for another video for a whole topic in itself, but just I think it would be interesting to discuss the tiny ways we've learned to cope, like Caleb's weighted blanket and Matt's soft, tactile things that he can touch with his OCD that help calm him down, that kind of thing.
Alright, yeah, we'll save that for the next video.
Okay.
But what are we talking about now? We're talking about catching people up on things that's been going on in our family since my last video.
You have submitted things to...
Oh, yes, my memoir. I finished my proposal with the help of a very wonderful friend named Deb Engel, who is an author in herself, and she is going to be a mentor at the Cape Cod Summit this October, and I'm hoping to go to that next spring. I already have a page up called a Fundly page, and trying to earn some money so they can pay for it.
We'll put links in the description, don't worry.
And so yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm really hoping that God will answer prayer and have one of the agents, or all of the agents that we've submitted to so far, be interested in picking up my memoir.
Let them fight over us.
It's called Tourette's, Tears, and Jesus, and it talks about how I became a mother of 4 children who have been diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, and all the other side comorbid disorders that go with it. I've also started writing a learning book series for parents and young children about when you get first diagnosed with Tourette's and you're young. It's a descriptive book about what happens with the children and what the parents can look for. And it's a story type form. Was that what you would call it, Caitlin?
It's definitely it's like informative fiction.
Okay, informative fiction. But the reality is that the Tourette's is real. that part of the story is a real thing that I observed with my children, and that's where my writing comes from. God gave me that series, and I'm hoping that by God's grace it will get picked up too. But my mentor, Deb Engel, is really excited about it. She thinks it's going to be a really good series to put out there for schools and parents and the Tourette American Tourette Association. Is that what it's called?
TSA.
TSA or TAA, something. They changed their name. I can't remember. I always get it confused.
Me too.
Anyway, look up Tourette's American Association. I think you'll find it. They're based in New York City. What else am I working on? Oh, Diary of a Mutant.
Yeah.
We're starting to put that into the meat grinder, so to speak, and rewriting and adding stuff to it, because Deb, again, is very excited about this. And it's called Diary of a Mutant. It's based on Caitlin's difficulty and obsessive-compulsive disorder with taking pills for her Tourette's when she was younger. And it's a fiction story. The characters are all fictional, and it's based on what Caitlin experienced when she finally decided to start taking medication, but it was a long struggle. She wouldn't do it for a long time. So, my husband's been working left and right. I mean, he's keeping some long hours and helping out with the garden. He did 5.5 rows of potatoes, and we've got like 5 milk crates full of potatoes, and we're very excited about that. Because up in Maine, we love our taters. And, let's see what else is going on. What? Oh, yeah, Caitlin's developed a wonderful new tic where she constantly moves her thumb in one direction while clicking the joint and bending at the top of it, and she's constantly going like this. And we have to go see a hand specialist because she's done something to her wrist and the joint and the tendon in there. So to the point where she can't use it anymore, very, very lightly. She couldn't even pick up a boiled potato the other day. That's how bad it is. So, we got to get that checked out. And so it's just a continual, ongoing saga of the Wyvie Chesser family dealing with Tourette's and all the wonderful things that come with it. Yeah, we're so excited.
But there's lighter stuff,
Yeah, we have a good time laughing. My sons Benjamin and Matthew and I are watching ER on Hulu, and we're in the second season, and we're just having so much fun. And it's a good show. I've forgotten how good it was. I used to watch it when they were younger. But what's really fun is going back to those old shows that I liked and rewatching it with my adult children, because they get to see, some of the things that I liked when they were growing up that I couldn't share with them at the time because they were too young.
Like Hill Street Blues.
Oh yeah, Matt's gotten into Hill Street Blues, and what is the other things that we watch?
Well, you don't like it, but we watch Mystery Science Theater.
Oh yeah, they like what's it called? MSTK?
MST3K.
MST3K. That's their big thing, but oh my word, don't ask me to sit through that. That would be torture for me. If they tied me up in a chair and stuck me in front of the TV and played that for 24 hours, I'd be nuts by the time they got me out of the chair.
You do enjoy Psych, however.
I do love Psych. Psych is a really good show. Back in the 90s, was it?
No, early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah. It's a really good show. And we watch Monk. Oh, we love Monk because he just so personifies obsessive compulsive disorder. And Caleb he's just drawn to Monk because he can relate to him so well. And we'll sit there and we'll just all laugh so hard. Not because Monk is suffering with obsessive compulsive disorders, but because all the kids can relate to how he's feeling at the moment, like when he has to go into a room and he has to touch something, and Natalie or Sharona will tell him, no, don't touch that, come over here. But he hesitates and he pauses and he waits like he's being pulled in that direction of Sharona, and then he bounces back and touches it and then rushes over it. And they all get laughing so hard because they know what that feeling is like, and it's nice to have something out there for them to relate to. And one of the reasons I want to do this channel and keep up with it, and I also have a new Facebook page. I'll get back to that in a minute.
We'll put a link in the description.
But one of the reasons I want to do this channel is because I want people out there who have Tourette syndrome to know that they're not alone. And I've stated that in the last 2 videos that I did. But it's really important that you understand that we are here for you, and I want you to I would like you to, I should say, I would really like you to reach out when you feel the moment's right and ask questions or make statements. And, please feel free to ask me anything that you're thinking about, or maybe that you're struggling with, you don't understand. If I can't find the answer, if I don't have the answer, then we'll find it together, me and my children. Caitlin is my tech person. She's, oh my word, that's one of the things I've noticed about them. With OCD, it really helps them to hone in on specific things that they have a really good talent for. And Caitlin's is computer work and technology, and Benjamin's the same way. He can set up a TV system with the games and the Blu-ray player and the Wi-Fi, and he knows what's going wrong if something doesn't work right. And it's so funny because one time I was in my room and watching TV upstairs so that they could have the TV downstairs, and it wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out because everything was plugged in. And so I hollered to Ben, and he comes in, and the second he steps in the doorway, it starts to work. And he gets laughing, and he says, "See, technology is afraid of me because they know I'll figure it out." And I just thought that was so cute that he said that. And these are the things that I really try to encourage them in, and congratulate them for having this ability, because they have so much adversity that they have to deal with. It's important that they see the things that they can do. And that's why I want you to talk to me, so you can see the things that you can do. And when you get so bogged down and surrounded by hopelessness and Tourette's and tics and OCD or ADHD or anxiety and sleep deprivation, all of that stuff can be like putting your head in a fishbowl and just having it going around and around and around, and that's all you see. But you have to understand that there are gifts that you have too, things that can be utilized in a very strong way because of some of the things that you have with Tourette's. For example, Matthew used to work at Wendy's when we had one here in Rockland, and he worked on the grill. Now Matthew is, he's a good cook with meat. He's a very good cook with meat, and he hates a messy area. So, so one of the other cooks had just left his shift had ended, so he left, and Matthew took over. And within 10 minutes, Matthew had that whole grill spotless. I mean, there was no grease on the sides. It was all swooped down to where it's supposed to be. The hamburgers were all in their nice little rows. And the manager, the assistant manager, came by, and he stopped and he looked and he goes, "Wow." He goes, "That's the best looking grill I've ever seen." So you see, you can take OCD and you can turn it around and use it for your benefit. So please, please reach out. And again, I apologize if we've gone so long, but I hope that you understand with everything that's going on in the country, in the world. It took us a while to get acclimated to it. Anything else, Kate?
Um, just want to put out there that disability is not incapability.
Exactly. It's not. Disability is something that you realize, hey, you know what? This is something I can't do, and that's okay because I can do this in spades. For example, Caitlin's social anxiety. Through the pandemic, little by little, we've realized that Caitlin can't go into crowded stores. She has panic attacks. She doesn't like people near her. She's tactile defensive in that way. Matthew is too. And that's okay. But what she can do is she stays home and organizes the cupboards, again, OCD, and like I said, she's my tech person. She's just really gone in leaps and bounds, and she's a writer. This girl can write. I mean, she's got stories that she's working on right now that I can't wait to read. And she's even written a book and self-published it on Amazon. I forget the name of it. All I can think of is Avant-Garde.
Well, that's what I call it all the time. Its title is Lords of the Civilized Underworld.
Lord of the Civilized Underworld. It's a really good, what's it called?
It's slightly steampunk.
Slightly steampunk fiction, but it's a really good book. I enjoyed it, and I thought it was really good. We had a great time editing it together when she was writing it. So, there's lots of things that you can do. You just have to find out what things don't jive with you and what things do. So, your assignment for this week is to sit down and write down things that you really like to do, things that interest you, and stop focusing on something like that, and reach out to a doctor or to a friend, or if you don't know any neurologists, or anybody in your area, even if you don't have insurance, there's people out there, there's programs out there that can help you get medication, that can help you find help for what you need. And if you can't find it, then, Caitlin and I will research and see what we can find for you in the area that you're living in. So please reach out. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Well, that's our catch-up video for today, and I want to thank you again for tuning in, and we'll be back every 2 weeks, Caitlin, is that what we said?
Yep.
Every 2 weeks we're going to do this, because we're going to try to get it built up a little bit slowly. I think we were just a little rambunctious when I first got home from France last year, so we're going to tighten it down to twice a month and wait for you to have questions. So have a good day, and I will see you